Well, hello. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you all. Good to see you on this beautiful Sunday, March 26th. Welcome to our weekly brunch. As you can see, I am nice and comfy. I've just come out of a very pleasant shower. Hopefully, everybody can hear me okay. I'm having a lovely cup of coffee. Cheers. And today we are playing for the World Community Kitchen. We've received a nice donation from Anonymous for $20. Thank you so much. We also want to give prayers for safety and condolences to the people of Mississippi, Alabama, and parts of Tennessee who recently were struck by absolutely horrible weather. So, of course, the World Kitchen will be there, as they always are. Excuse me. Really giving people emergency food aid, comfort, etc., etc. Excuse me, during difficult times. So I am your hostess with the mostest, Whimsy, the Oracle of Whimsy, the alter ego of Dr. Whimsy, and we get together on Sundays and we kibitz, chat, and we talk about whatever you want to talk about. This invitation to brunch is extended to the four corners of the earth. So wherever you are, please feel free to pull up a chair and join us. We have brunch together every Sunday at 11 a.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. I am over my cold. The cold is gone. I was sick for a little bit over a week. There's a little bit of residual, but I'm not sick anymore. Yeah, so my sister and I, we went to Seaside, Oregon. We had a great time. I slept a lot. I ate a ton of really great food. We had postnasal drip, not too much postnasal drip, thank God, not too much. I did have a lot of coughing last week. One of the reasons why I wasn't recording a lot last week. People are like, where are you? When I'm coughing like this, coughing into the microphone, it's just rude. So it's better to take some time off until my cold cleared. Thank you, Anonymous, for that $5 donation to the World Community Kitchen. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and turn the camera around, as they say, and let's talk to you. Hi, Aggravated Progressive. You're having Irish whiskey, an energy drink, and a cold grits. My goodness, that's quite the start to your day there, Aggravated. Progressive. All right, so tell us where you're coming from. Tell us a little bit about if you're okay, particularly if you're in Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, if you're all right. Tell us what you're eating. Introduce yourself to the group. That would be nice. I myself, excuse me, I haven't had breakfast yet, just having my coffee. Oh, Aggravated Progressive had a birthday too? Are you another Aries? Happy birthday to you. And gratitude to Pierre Walker, Debbie Brady, Kay Tarot, and Geocosmic Valentine for their help today. Looks like Lily D is starting us off with a broccoli quiche. That sounds delicious, Lily D. Where are you coming from? It sounds absolutely yummy. Oh, aggravated progresses. You're in the Villages in Florida? How interesting. Looks like Equus 3333 is in Chicago. Hi. Hi, Marie. Good to see you. Homemade oatmeal latte milk. Yes, I like those. Oh, Toronto. Rita finally made it. Good to see you here. Geocosmic Valentine is going to Lily's for some quiche. That sounds so delicious. Avocado toast in Oregon, Alexander Montclair. Delicious. Yum, yum. Oh, good to see you, Angela Bruce. So, how's everybody holding up? Do you feel like we're in the last couple of years, you got to admit, have been absolutely crazy. And now the crazy is kind of coming to an end, and we're kind of shaking our heads and saying, what the heck was that? What? Yolanda Aranda is in beautiful Oakland, California, and she's having pumpkin pie and cinnamon tea. Wow, wow, wow. Very nice. Lily Girl is having a plant-based sausage in Chicago. Ooh, with some nice mustard, I hope. Joanna's in Dallas. Looks like Joel Tilson, who always has to outdo us. Do you really cook this stuff, Joel? I'm coming to your house. One pot roast with celery, carrots, onions, and large Yukon potato. Oh my gosh, that sounds heavenly. I don't really eat red meat that much anymore, but man, when I did I enjoy it. Oh, Rebecca is having a cream cheese arugula omelet. Mm-hmm. With blue. Are you in a restaurant, Rebecca? That sounds lovely. All right, let's talk politics. Let's talk about everything. Whatever you guys want to talk about, let's talk about the remote views. Everything is heating up very nicely. I was looking at the information on Gao Wang Gai. He is the friend of Bannon, Steve Bannon, who's the con artist who was conning. He conned a lot of former Chinese out of money, claiming that they could get involved with his business, etc. I think he's going to be going away to prison for a very long time, but it's going to be interesting. The fact that he blew up his evidence, I think that is just this. Is this not stranger than fiction? The more we find out about it. But I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about Gao Wengai and how these types of con artists were running around making a fortune off of gullible people. Um, it's just interesting. But what's also interesting was that the extent to which they were part of the MAGA cult. And so it's going to be really interesting, I think, to see what happens with Gao Wang Guy. I suspect that he's probably going to be in prison probably for the rest of his life. He's committed so many crimes. Is everyone teasing Joel? Joel, who is all that pot roast for? Do you have people coming over? Am I coming over? Thank you, Susan Strickland, for the $20 donation to the World Community Kitchen. It is much appreciated, and they are headed to Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee, evidently, because that is where people don't have kitchens. People don't have anything. That's what's amazing about the World Community Kitchen is that they can literally go anywhere in the world, set up quickly, and get food to people literally within a day or two. So Sarah Eschweiler is asking a really interesting question that I think the entire group we should think about, which is, do you feel that with, excuse me, do you feel with all the changes that are currently going on that it's been good for us spiritually. What do y'all think? Do you feel that it forced us to do? I know that I did a lot of hard work on myself. The day after Trump got elected, I applied for a passport. Did anybody else do that? I had a passport, but it was expiring. And I did. I freaked out. I thought, what if what if these people are crazy? What if I can't get out of here? What if I'm not able to get out of this country? Because it was literally like something from a Margaret Atwood novel or something, right? It was very dystopian. And here I am, the Jewish kid, Jewish liberal. I've read all of Margaret Atwood. So first thing I did is I ran and got a passport. I got to get out of here. What if they lock us in? Anyway, that's kind of how I dealt with it. I don't know if anybody else freaked out as much as I did. Where will I run to? Where will I go? Thank you, Lily Girl, for the $20 donation. Thank you, Jennifer Curry. Much kindness. Lentil soup and bruschetta in Boston. Pia Swan. Yummy, yum, yum. Do you feel it was a collective PTSD that we are all coming out of? I don't know, maybe. Joanne Sands says the day after, do you remember, excuse me, do you remember where you were the day after Trump was elected? That's the question for the group. And how did you handle it the day after? Joanne Sands says the day after former guy was elected, she was deep into wine and sobbing. Yeah. So Kay was in Malaysia at the time and almost thought about not even coming back to the States. Joel Tilson, lentils are very healthy. That is true. Marjorie Harrison was sobbing in her celebratory champagne. Oh, did you get the champagne for Hillary Clinton? Yeah, I thought Hillary was going to win too. Lily Girl was sobbing and emotionally out of control. Oh my goodness. Didn't want to come back from Europe. That's what happened. I was in Canada with my fiance when was it Bush Jr. won? He didn't want to get back on the plane. All right, so I think we should do a collective. In terms of the remotes, I don't know if I have anything more to share with you other than the fact that things are just progressing as everybody said they would. I think the former president, Trump, is going to be charged. If he didn't get charged last week, it was because they were trying to do delays with emergency witnesses, right? So, um, yeah, I think Trump is probably going to get charged relatively soon. I think that other charges, possibly out of Georgia, they held off on some stuff in Georgia because they've got multiple grand juries going on right now. So that is what's going on there. And in terms of China, they say China's relationship with Russia is getting tighter. That makes sense. I mean, they're trying to broker a peace deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia, which I think is a very good idea. And Saudi Arabia is also brokering peace with Israel. Again, that's probably a good idea. I don't know if it'll last because people are concerned about Iran. But I don't see the situation escalating. There is some more stuff that's come out about the fact that Russia really doesn't have many weapons left. They do have some nuclear weapons. It's kind of like they threw everything they could at Ukraine, but it's just looking increasingly like there's just nothing left. If there's nothing left, if Russia doesn't have anything left and none of their allies want to give them weapons, then the only thing that they can do is continue to harass the other and drop as much stuff as they can. They also are kind of bullying Belarus in a way, aren't they? Bullying Belarus by forcing Belarus to hold on to their nuclear weapons for them. But it's almost as if they're setting up nuclear weapons in Belarus so that they can withdraw and so still have a presence. Well, we still have nuclear weapons that can hit Ukraine. So, I just can't see how they say this war could go on for years, but I just don't see how when you don't have any weapons to fight with. So we will see. We will see. All right. So I think we should do the empath prayer. Would you all like to hear the empath prayer? Or are there any other clarifications on remotes that people need? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Collective reading. Would people like to get a collective reading? Hi, Salty Chip. Netanyahu. Yeah, we could probably do a blitz on Netanyahu. He's trying to centralize power, similar to how people are trying to centralize power in other countries. And of course, it's being met with protest. Yes, Russia's trying to repair old tanks. Jennifer Curry is talking about that. A tank is a tank, even if it was built in 1943, right? So it's pretty pathetic, don't you think? Did they prove their point? Those people who are libertarians who believe everything should be privatized? Yes, they proved their point. Libertarianism doesn't work. If you want to lose your military, if all you love is money and privatization, then you don't have any love for the community. Whereas Americans are very patriotic and they're always going to put money towards their American defense. And that is why ultimately we win. But they rob themselves blind. And so that's pretty much it. All right, let's do the empath's prayer. We're going to do a collective. Yes, Kathy, I think everything's being delivered. And I think that look, the contracts are already being signed. People are ready to start rebuilding Ukraine. Russia is taking mothball tanks back into, first off, they'll break down. And secondly, they'll be blown up by drones. So, okay. They're not paying the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group is surrounded without weapons and taking really strong hits, and something like half of the criminals that were taken into Wagner have already been killed. So they didn't have a high survival rate. Yeah. I don't think Russia's going to be able to attack anybody for much longer. What they need to do is start creating infrastructure with China for those countries that are willing to trade with them and stop destroying their country through war. And Xi is the guy who's kind of like, you made your point. He's trying to create a healthy exit and stability. And look, if you have questionable trade like she does, You want to strengthen your ties with those people who you think are going to help you get ahead in Africa, help you get ahead in the Middle East. But she's not a warmonger. He's more like somebody who just wants the wheels of China to keep churning. He had a very good relationship with the United States. You have to realize that she really liked the United States. He spent time in the United States as a young person. So I can't imagine him. Also, there's giving up on the United States. Also, anybody who's been to China knows that there are billions of dollars of US money and investment in China. Kentucky Fried Chicken, you know. There's a lot of Kentucky Fried Chicken sold in Beijing, right? So I think any tensions we have with China are temporary. I really do. Let's do the empath prayer and let's do a collective reading. Would everyone like to receive a reading today? A message from Spirit? China is broke as well, Angela, but that's starting to become public information. Both Russia and China have not been forthcoming about releasing all their earnings reports. I don't think the ruble is publicly even traded at this point. So, yeah, I mean, you look at COVID, you look at how COVID impacted China, their zero policy, sanctions, etc. Of course, China's broke. So, in terms of who wins the Cold War right now, just as a remote viewer, it's the United States, Karen. Okay, Empaths, prayer, and collective. So, in the case of giving everybody a reading, we are going to do what's called the Empaths prayer. If you know the prayer, you can say it with me. And then we pray that the universe give messages that are applicable to the people who are watching. So, we believe in the superconscious, the collective conscience. So, hopefully, in today's reading, there will be a message for you. Sound good? Okay. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say, Amen. Let us see. Let us have a look. And then after that, we'll blitz away and get to everybody's questions. Okay, where you are at right now at this time, there's been a lot of confusion. I feel like there's a lot of confusion in the world right now. It's almost like, where do we go from here? Because we're kind of, the old ways are gone and now the new ways are coming and we're kind of stuck in the middle. It's like watching your old car break down, watching the old ways break apart, and we just have to kind of watch them fall apart, and we don't really know what to do before we start life on the new road. What I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, is that we are evolving towards a place in the next couple of years where the old economy is dead and a new economy emerges. And that is an economy based on the new green economy, because old technologies are dying away, and that's going to create a lot of crazy in the stock market, etc. But in general, this is a time when people feel lost. We feel lost because the way we were doing things in the past isn't the way that we can do them in the future. This stuff used to be so different in the past, and now it's changed. So where we are right now as a collective is a state of confusion. We honestly don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what will come. The advice from Spirit to you has always been the same. When in doubt, when you don't know, when you're frightened and you don't know what tomorrow will bring, always instead put your attention towards the things that you can control. That's like being a good stoic, right? What can you control about your life right now? We can't control whether or not China is going to sell weapons to Russia, which would surprise me, by the way, if they actually wanted to keep this going, considering the fact that it's costing them a fortune. We don't have any control over that. We only have control over our ethics, our values, etc. Many of you are actually starting a new life for yourself. It's like you're coming out of the old ways and you're starting into a new life for yourself right around now. This is the April card. It's the 4th month. We read wands literally as months. It is a time card. Because it does contain a wand, which we read as time. 4 of Wands can be the time of April. It's also a time of building new things. So when in doubt, build something new. If the old ways are not working for you, start new ways of doing things. Where you're at right now is also a time in your life when you're being very logical, very practical, very much able to look at your situation older and wiser than you were in the past. And consequently, it's easier for you to do things than you used to do in the past. There's a star above you. Good blessings to you. Things will become easier for you in the coming days. Fighting to establish a place for yourself. What's worth fighting for? I think that that's the other spiritual message for many of us at this right time, at this time. So what I would say to you is that we have this is something that has come up before. And that is, how much time do you have left? How much time do you have in the day? So it's about prioritizing what's important to you at this time. For example, you have a hangman coming in, which is to let things that are disturbing you go. Find out what it is that's worth fighting for. Many of you are concerned about your financial investments. Somebody wrote me and said, that doesn't apply to me at all. I'm not worried about frugality or living below my means or anything like that. And I thought, wow, somebody who has not been affected by interest rates and inflation, etc. But what has come up for many of us is a concern about our investments and a concern about our financial future. They're saying that people that are part of the corrupt banks, people that stole, people that are responsible for a lot of the crazy stuff that's going on in the United States, we're going to start seeing some prosecutions and some people going to jail in the next couple of months, just to let you guys know that. Some of you are entering into a romantic period of time in your life also. This is a social time for many of you, and some of you are going to start dating in April. I'm seeing romantic relationships for some of you starting in April. That's kind of nice. Seeing lovers coming. Some of you will be able to take some of your money and invest it towards creative pursuits. Creative pursuits. The takeaway message today is to keep on keeping on. If something isn't working for you, be able to step back and look objectively at it. If it's not working, let it go. You have limited time in the day. Don't argue or put yourself in situations that are tense or disturbing if you're not seeing any progress or growth. Overall, for the group, if you're looking for love and romance, April is a great time for you to begin to step out of your comfort zone. If you're looking at financial investments, now to April is a good time for you to be starting new financial endeavors as well. And overall, a good reading. Be about your business. You cannot you cannot control what others choose to do. I don't see death and destruction. You didn't get the Tower card. It's really more telling you to be moderate in your work habits, and yeah, go with the flow, as they say. And I feel like people's energy is going to be picking up in April, which that's true for me too. I always feel like I have more energy in the spring than I do in the winter. All right, so there's a tornado in Missouri. When did that happen? Oh, you're feeling lost, Cheryl? Yeah, there's this feeling of that a lot of people are lost. Confusion was the base of the matter. But they said when at this time in your life, if you're feeling a little lost, it's a feeling that will pass. By April, you're going to be very clear about where you want to go with your life. This is just everything is up in the air because so much crazy. There's a lot unsettled in the world, and I think it's affecting all of us. You know. So when I get the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away, as they say, I will take 25 dead. When did this happen? I remember we did a meditation a couple years back where Spirit said that the winds would be extremely powerful. And we've been getting more information about that lately, that the winds would be so powerful they could take down planes and that it would have an impact on aviation in the future. And that these powerful winds would become an existential threat to human survival, flying, etc. And that's happening now. I don't know why we have so much wind now. Why, but wind has become a real wind and flooding. I mean, the Ohio River, I guess, flooded as well, but when I went into the energy as a remote viewer, I've never felt wind like that. I mean, it's the kind of wind where you literally cannot take off a plane. You can't operate certain things where it's literally wiping out buildings, houses, etc. And a tornado, yeah, it's just the winds. And unfortunately, the winds are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. This is one of the reasons why we encourage people to plant trees. And we do a few tree planting fundraisers a year because they're natural breakers. Those areas that don't have a lot of trees are more vulnerable to these types of things. Clear cutting, so we want to encourage as much tree growth as possible. Wow, that is just insane. Okay, so we've got the order. Prayers also to Missouri. Like I said, if you can donate a couple bucks to the Community World Kitchen, they bring food to areas like that, like Mississippi, etc., where people are not getting fed. Just terrible. And now Missouri. Hi, Patricia in Jupiter, Florida. Wow. Okay, so Cynthia has a question. Let's start with Cynthia. We're going to go backwards. She wants to know about Epstein and was Trump did Trump financially best benefit in any way from human trafficking? What do y'all think? Do you think he did or he didn't? Okay, Trump's involvement with Epstein. It was a shaky financial business. The cops were always around Epstein. Epstein was always involved in some crazy scam, according to Trump. And Trump thought that he was going to get into trouble by connecting with Epstein. That's what Trump is saying, that he was a guy that was fun for a party. He got into some wild things and he took it too far. And I knew the cops were going to put a stop to him. Like, that is how I feel as Donald Trump. First off, we were in some shaky business together, Two of Pentacles, the con artist. So yes, he had some financial dealings with Epstein, but he was a little shaky on it. Epstein's cards, the cops right over him, raids, police. So Trump saw Epstein as potentially a legal problem, somebody where their cops were all over him, under investigation, involved in some crazy, wild stuff that was outside of what Trump wanted to deal with, and then the courts and the police. So his involvement with Epstein got him potentially to have to be like an FBI informant, etc. Evidently that happened. So it drew the police into Trump got attention from the police he didn't want because of Epstein, according to what he's saying. And it led to him being questioned by the feds, cooperating with the feds, etc. But you can see he had business dealings, which he probably regretted. Epstein created problems. It was fun, and then it wasn't fun. And some kind of police make an offer with Epstein. Maybe he became a VIP informant. And then you can see there was some kind of international investigation that took place. I'm assuming this is the pedophile rings, and that because of Trump's involvement with Epstein, he had to cooperate. But you can see the courts coming in and smoother waters lay ahead. He was able to get himself out of the situation. He was probably one of the people that, like Dershowitz, that was able to get off by being a cooperating witness. But you get the impression from that because of those types of involvements with Epstein, Trump wanted to steer clear of him after a while. Yeah. What does amen mean? Well, Om has a peace aspect like shalom. And I think it basically, may it be so. I think you're praying that it be so. And thank you for the amens. All right. So we have a question here about TikTok. What do y'all think about the TikTok thing? Do you think that TikTok needs to be closed down? Do you like TikTok? We can see the TikTok on YouTube Shorts. People will usually also put it on YouTube Shorts, which is Google owned. Maybe it's better to watch it on Google owned. I don't know. Should we be worried about TikTok? Does the app get into our private phone information? Let's take a look. TikTok. Woo! There's big money to be made in TikTok. A lot of it is a very good business model. A lot of people are making money. So no, I don't see them shutting down TikTok because it's too profitable to Americans. So American business is making a lot of money off TikTok. So they're going to have to work it out. You can see here large chunks of money working out the business aspects of TikTok. Hopes and fears, negotiations, final outcome, Ace of Cups, which is a peace offer. So no, they may have to ensure certain things about the app, but there's no way they're going to get it's too profitable for too many people. A lot of Americans are making money. Yeah. No, they will work it out. They can go in, they can take a look at the app. The app can go through certain types of revisions, but TikTok will not be gone. You can see here it's a family legacy, inheritance, money, others in relation, investigation of one's business, hopes and fears, the feds, the law, mercy shown. No, TikTok will not be closed down, but they will go, excuse me, they will go in and they will try to create a way for TikTok to be able to operate without being a threat to American security. What do you think about that? Hmm. All right. Joanna Carson wants to know about Putin's health. Has he recovered? Did he have cancer? Excuse me. It wasn't confirmed that he had cancer. There were rumors. Let's look at Putin's health. How is Putin's health? Mentally, he's not well at all. People are afraid of Putin because he's behaving in a way that's mentally irrational and violent. He has been told by Shea, etc., to negotiate a peace. He can't accept the fact that he's lost. He's refusing to accept that he's lost. He's become even more violent and more unhinged the more he realizes he's lost, and he becomes irrational. He simply cannot, like Trump, accept the fact that he's a loser. He's extremely angry and violent at this time, lashing out. Those next to him are frightened of him. His behavior is unstable. Things in his world are changing very quickly, and he's forced into an abrupt ceasefire. What else could he do? You guys know his situation. Come on, he's surrounded. Anybody with half a brain. Our military strategists are real military strategists. The US military strategists are some of the best in the world. They have looked at the war map. They have looked at our military. They have looked at Ukrainian military. They have looked at the types of weapons that are being supplied to the Ukrainian military. Putin is living in a fantasy world of stories. We are in touch with objective reality when it comes to how to win a war. We have a better military, and we are the ones assisting Ukraine. So, from a war map perspective, if you're a general who looks at war maps and how wars are fought, it's already over for Putin, and he's in denial, so he's reacting in violent, psychotic, irrational ways. He's violent and irrational. He feels like he's surrounded and tied up. His opposition, Ukraine, the West, feels afraid of him, but they're going forward, right? They're going forward. They're taking their land back. His hopes and his fears that it's happening too quickly. He's in denial. The final outcome for him, he must negotiate a peace withdrawal. Poverty. He's lost support. I don't see physical death. I don't see anything like that. What I see is a man who is unhinged because he can't accept the fact that he's lost the war, that no one's willing to give him any money for the war. And so they're having to literally go into scrap metal dumped tanks from the 1940s and use them. And that's really pathetic simply because this man's ego, he cannot accept the fact that he has lost the war. So what do y'all think about that? Any other remote viewers here? Has anybody done a remote viewing and doesn't agree with my assessment? Please don't be frightened to disagree with me if you're a remote viewer. Anybody here doing HCRV that doesn't agree with me and sees it ending differently? HCRV practitioner. Does anybody disagree? Do people think that the war with Russia is going to continue and that he's going to get funding possibly from Texas? Does anybody come up with a different conclusion than me? Melissa Miller's a remote viewer. She says nope. Because I'm just curious. I had one remote viewer say, no, I think that Russia will pull it off. And I go down and I look at Russia's economic situation, and I don't even know how that country operates. Yeah, Joe Cosmic Valentine. She's also an astrologer and a remote viewer. I'm sure she's done some interesting charts. Be curious, Joe Cosmic, if you could do a chart on Putin, if you haven't done so already. Yeah, I think most remote viewers, when we go in, it just looks so bad for Russia that we just can't figure out how they could. Their situation is so chaotic. I don't even know who they would have as an ally that could sit down and have a rational conversation with them at this point. He doesn't really have any sympathy from anybody. All right, let's see if Texas is ceding. I love how they say that we'll take NASA. No, you won't, because NASA is federally funded. So if you ceded, there would be no NASA. You can't invent this level of stupid. Ted Cruz, we're going to take NASA. And what are you going to do with it without federal funds? You wing nut. Some people's children. No, it's never going to happen. It's the whole Putin putting money into trying to break up the states because the Soviet Union got broken up. So now they're trying to break up Oregon between East and West Oregon. Yeah, it's never going to happen. Basically, what the average person in Texas is saying is that they like being an American. They're not interested in being part of another country. We are Americans. The people of Texas do not want to stop being Americans. The offer rejected. Yeah. It's that they've been talking about seeding since 1863 or whatever. Yeah, good luck with that. No, never going to happen. They're not interested. We're Americans. We're interested in fixing America's problems. We're not interested in having our own country. it will never take off the ground. They grow up being told they're the greatest nation in the world, Texans. So now you don't want to be an American and you just got done telling us it's the greatest nation on earth. You're confused. Of course, it's never going to happen. Ask the average Texan, would you give up your American citizenship? I don't think so. Melissa Miller has a question about the NRCS. The future of the NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Services. Let's take a look. There's only one economy left. That's what people have to realize. There's only one economy, the green economy. What other economy is there? And you also think about the fact that things will have to be made differently, like stronger planes. Otherwise, we're going to just spend a tremendous amount of time with planes that can't take off because of the weather. Same with cruising. A lot of cruising could go under because of crazy weather, right? People don't want to change. People don't want things to be complicated. People don't want the government in their business, Melissa. And so the main feeling I get about this organization is that people are suspicious and they don't want to change, and they feel like things are becoming more complicated. They don't want things to be pressured for them to do. Experts coming in and changing the way that they do business, but an overhaul is coming to the way we do business. And I think we're going to start seeing more organic, because there's a lot of evidence that the spraying is killing off bees. But you can see a lot of work lay ahead for farmers, and a new contract lay ahead for environmental friendly farming. So they don't want to do it. They're being pressured by the government to do it because of global warming. And eventually people will move forward with more environmentally supportive ways of farming. And it's a lot of work that lay ahead. That's what they're saying. So yeah, we're moving towards organic farming again. Smoother waters lay ahead for the farmers. The time is now. Strong leadership in the farming community. Compassion for farmers, because it's a lot of work, leads to a strong alliance in the future. Yes, Melissa, that is exactly what's going to happen. We will move towards the green economy. People don't want to do it, but they realize it's inevitable. And we're from the government and we're here to help. And this time they really are there to help. So there's that, oh God, what is the government going to do now? But it's necessary to change up the way we farm, just because of all the changes that are happening in the world. So yes, it's going to happen. Oh my goodness. Let's do one more. Oh, the seaweed blob. We've got a massive seaweed blob. Can we feed it to the manatees? They're always hungry, right? Are manatees hungry? If the manatees are always hungry and we got a massive seaweed blob, couldn't we just feed the massive seaweed blob to the hungry manatees? Just throw a bunch of manatees into the... No? Ooh, forest farming. How lovely. Oh, it smells, but maybe the manatees like it. Manatees eat massive amounts of vegetables. I mean, they're just constantly eating. Yeah. Well, let's look at this seaweed blob. It sounds like a lot of fun. The blob stinks. Oh dear. Stick to my cards, Whimsy. Oh, owie. Boo-boo. The blob. Not enough manatees to consume it. Oh, it smells toxic. So you guys are teaching me. It's poisonous. Well, All right, let's look at this blob. Toxic seaweed blob. There you go, Karen. The size of the whole country. Thank you, Anonymous. There's some joint effort to deal with it. People, school kids. Looks like a bunch of smart people are getting together to deal with it. It will be resolved. I don't know how, but it's resolved. You can see people coming together. Aid. Here again, creative conflicts, people coming together, making decisions. Let's see how this works out. Yeah, the manage. Oh, look at that. Strong intelligence. Looks like by April, they're proactive about it. People are complaining. You're right. It does smell bad. It's going to be off the shore affecting housing for a really, really long time. It smells putrid. There is a complaint about it. They say you can cover it with sand and dirt. That's what I'm seeing. Worse than rotten eggs. Yeah, so you have these inclines, it comes, it smells, everyone's complaining about the stench, it's burning their eyes. And what they're doing is they're collecting it and they're burying it, or they're burying it under sand and then it decomposes. But yeah, it's going to be bad. But it will pass. It will pass. Yeah, it also, when it decomposes, it can carry diseases and stuff. It smells almost like ammonia when it burns, when it rots, doesn't it? It's really strong. Must have a lot of protein in it. Yeah, I would think you couldn't be around that. Yeah, I think it could do some damage, but the main thing is that it looks like it's affecting where people live. It contains arsenic. It can't be used for fertilizer. It looks like they're going to be burying it, from what I understand. Hi, Joyce. Glad to see you. Let's do one more throw on it. There's a lot of money to get rid of it. There are health concerns. There's money that's going into taking care of it. It'll be a cleanup. We will survive it. It's a cleanup, but we will survive it. We will get through it. We will get through it. Well, my beloveds, we have come to the end. I missed you too, Joyce. I know. I had a cold. I was coughing and coughing and coughing. I'd rather just not come on for a couple of days if I don't feel good. I wasn't, yeah. When I have that kind of lung stuff going on, it's better for me to just wait until I feel better. Otherwise, it's a drag for everybody. So overall, from the readings, I get that we will find our way. You will have a new passion about the meaning of your life coming up around April. Some of you will fall in love again. The time of Trump has come to an end. People are moving away from that. I think he and his friends are going to prison. I think that we're headed towards the time of the reckoning. I will say in closing that, good to see you. I will say in closing that I feel we're also going to start seeing more prosecutions against members of Congress in the coming weeks. Remember when the Department of Justice, when we had gone into the records, they said that one of the delays in prosecution had to do with obstruction by lawyers? That one of the reasons they were having so much trouble prosecuting was because the lawyers were breaking the law, and so they had to stop everything and go after the lawyers. So now we have all these Trump lawyers being prosecuted. Make attorneys get attorneys. So I basically get that the majority of the account and reckoning about all of that happens in the next 3 to 4 months. So I think in addition to Trump, it's the time now of his allies being arrested and charged. Because if you go back to what Robert Mueller said, it went all the way to the Capitol steps. The corruption went all the way to the Capitol steps. This was before the Capitol riots. But he was saying that the stench goes all the way to the Capitol steps, and he and the feds were going to go all the way to Congress, and they were going to start arresting members of Congress. If you go back to what Mueller had predicted was going to, how this was going to wind up. So let's remember that. So just because Trump is going to get charged probably next week, and there'll be multiple charges after that, let's not forget all the people that have been actively trying to obstruct the January 6th investigation, all the members of Congress that were part of that. So we're probably going to see more of that coming out probably in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think we're going to see more revelations about January 6th and who in Congress could be facing charges. So that's something else to look forward to. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your ongoing love and support. Special shout out to Joel Tilson, Cosmic Valentine, Debbie Brady. Thank you so much. I need to get back to you about would people buy merch? I don't know. We're thinking about doing some merch for the channel. I don't know. Will you guys buy this stuff? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to. We'll have to think about it. Joyce Pietris, thank you for your help today. Melissa Miller, much appreciated. And thank you to all of you for hanging and having brunch with me. Be well, be kind, play nice with the other children, be a good person, pay your taxes even if you don't want to. And now that my lungs are a little bit stronger, I'll try and get on here more often. All right. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can go to rowwithwhimsy.com. If you need just a quick 5-minute video from me to you, they're relatively inexpensive. I think they run $25 to $30 for a 5-minute question. And you can ask those through Wizio. I usually can get the answer back to you in a couple of days. If you need to see me as a doctor for general wellness coaching, I am a naturopathic doctor. And you can find the information for telemedicine scheduling as well below this video. Be well, be strong, everyone, and I will see you next time. Thank you.